A lot of big things were coming together at this time. Nick Milletti owned the Coliseum, and he got a brand new team called the Cavaliers. He owned the Cleveland Indians, and they just got Frank Robinson, the biggest first African American to play in Major League Baseball. Nick owned the Indians.
And the Crusaders.
He owned the Crusaders, a new hockey team. So he's got the radio station, the Coliseum, the Cavaliers, and the Cleveland Indians. And I'm the morning man. All these things, Ken, are breaking at the same time.
It was synergy.
Yeah. So I was blessed to be on the biggest station in Cleveland with the biggest names.
And the biggest signal.
In the biggest signal, one of the top 11 signals in America. And all these things are happening. So it wasn't me. It was the fact that I just happened to be in the middle of all these things going on at the same time. On the opening of baseball season for 10 years, I introduced all the players. When the Cavaliers started, they got a brand new guy by the name of Austin Carr.
Sure.
I went out and interviewed Austin Carr, and then I was asked to write the Cavaliers fight song, which turned out to be a big hit. So, Ken, it just all came together at one time.
So, I mean, how does, I don't know many radio talkers that can write a song as good as Come On Cavs, Gotta Make It Happen.
Come on, Cavs!
Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen. Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen with your fast break action. Gotta make it happen. Just keep on coming on. Gotta make it happen. Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen. Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen. Cavaliers basketball is what it's all about.
Throughout the NBA, they never do now.
But when the pressure's on and the game is almost through, the Cavs will make it happen and rally 2 by 2. We'll never surrender. No way.
Ain't no way, never surrender.
No matter what the odds.
Ain't no way, never surrender. Come on, Cavs. Got to make it happen. Come on, Cavs. Got to make it happen.
Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen. Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen. Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen. Keep on getting on. Gotta make it happen. Come on, Cavs. Gotta make it happen. Come on, Cavs.
My kids know that song. Diana will come over and sing it for you.
Did you have a musical background?
No, I'm kidding.
Well, how did that happen? That you got?
But to be honest with you, at that time, when I was at WIXY, I started to write jingles.
Okay.
And I was blessed to have the biggest agency in Cleveland call me and said, we want you to write a jingle for Smuckers. And I thought, why are you calling me? I mean, this is a big name. What had happened was they went to New York and probably had 3 or 4 jingle makers write a song, and every one of them were turned down by Smuckers. So they said, I want you to go home and on your tape recorder. And I said, tape recorder, I need to do it in the studio. They said, no, We don't have that kind of money. Go home, write the song on your tape recorder, bring it back to us, and we'll take a listen to it. So I go home and I write it, and I had a buddy who was a singer. His name was Jerry Tiffy. And I called Jerry and I said, Jerry, I've written a song for Smuckers. I'd like to have you sing it. Come on over. So he comes over, and I really liked it. He had a great, very good voice. And after he sang it, I called a friend of mine who was in the advertising business, and I said, I'm going to play this for you before I get thrown out of Smuckers tomorrow. Will you listen to it? She says, that's one of the best I've ever heard. They're going to love it.
Mommy, will you please teach me how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Sure. After the peanut butter, spread on the Smucker's grape jelly.
The Smuckers is my favorite part.
It does taste good. And you know what else? It isn't expensive. You have to learn that when you grow up, too. We can make 36 sandwiches from this 2-pound jar. Well, how does your first sandwich taste?
Almost as good as yours, Mommy.
With a name like Smuckers, it has to be good.
So I went out and got a sheet cake. You know, two
Sure,
and a half
sure.
feet.
Half sheet
and
cake.
I put, with a name like Smuckers, has to be good. And in the middle of the sheet cake, I went out and got a jar of jelly, took all the jelly out of it, and put the cassette there. They thought that was kind of clever, but then again, it's not the jingle. So I played it for Dave London, and who was the creative director. Dave said, I like it. I really like it. Unbeknownst to me that they had gone to New York and spent all their money.
Oh.
So then he calls Lois Wise in, who had written with a name like Smuckers, has to be good, that logo. And she said, oh my God, get a hold of Mark Wise, her husband. Have him take that down to Orville, Ohio, immediately, the home of Smuckers. And we'll go from there. So they called me that night and said, Smuckers loved it. We're on our way. So they said, we bought the Today Tonight Show package. It's going to be launched on the Johnny Carson show and on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and the morning show. So they said, how much? So I didn't know what it charged. I was charging $2,500 for a local jingle and only making, I shouldn't say only because it was nice then, $500 to $700 for a jingle, creative fee. So I called a guy in New York who had just finished writing the Budweiser campaign. When you say Bud, you've said, and he's from Cleveland. So I got a hold of him and I said, what do I charge? He said, $20,000 creative fee. What? And I said, I haven't been paid more than $500. He said, yeah, but this is national.
Big
This
leagues.
this is big stuff now. And so I called Dave London. I said, Dave, I've got the creative fee. He said, what are you going to charge? I said, same thing all the New York agencies are charging, $20,000. He hung up on me.
Wow.
I called back and I said, something happened to the line, Dave. He said, are you the guy charging $20,000 to write a jingle for Smuckers? I said, yeah. So I go down and he said, look, he said, we used all of the big money to get this done. And he told me the story. He said, now that we have the jingle we want, he said, here's what I'm going to do for you. The voice of Smuckers, I can't remember his name, but he was one of the biggest voices in America, and he was on a hit TV show. He said, I'm going to have him do something for you. I'm going to call him and tell the story about Morrow's Music Machine. That's what I called my company then.
Is that a publishing company? Or
Yeah, it was just a regular music company. And he said, and you send that tape out across America, and I guarantee you, in a year, you're going to have several national jingles. So he paid me $2,000 to write it. And so I get this tape back from this guy. I can't remember. Boy, I wish I could remember his name because he was so popular. And
do you remember what TV show he was on?
No.
Okay.
Maybe his name will come up during the interview.
Okay.
I sent it out to all the agencies around America. The next year, within 18 months, had 8 national jingles.
What other ones did you do?
Yep, everyone, they listened to Smuckers, and so I was very fortunate. My jingle company then was launched. Now,
What year are you talking?
I'm at WIXY.
So
it's
69, 70?
Maybe 71, 72, because I left WIXY. this is an interesting story. I was doing very well selling jingles, and I no longer wanted to go to record hops for $25. So I had saved a lot of money from these jingles. And I was really working very, very hard, doing 6 and 7 record hops a week. I'd walk in and hire a guy to play the records. I'd say, "Hi, the Duker Larry Morrow's here." Spend 7 or 8 records. Out I'd go to the next one. And so, and only making $25 or $50 to do it. So I didn't want to do it anymore. So I quit WIXY-1260. And let me tell you how I quit. Norman Wain, Joe Zingali, and Bob Weiss, who owned WIXY, had just sold it for $15 million. They paid $1 million for it.
Yeah.
That when they sold it, they made the announcement that morning, and I was working from 10 to 3, Ken. So I went on the air and I thought, it is never going to be the same without those 3 guys. Never. And so I said, you know what? When I get off the air, I'm going to quit. So I get off the air and I went into Norm's office and I said, "Norm, you know what? You guys just sold the radio station. I quit. It'll never be the same." "You can't. We sold you on this whole thing. You got the Duker working for you, the #1 DJ in America. Oh, hear it. And you have to stay." And I said, "I'll stay 3 months." And that's it. And I did. And out I went. So
That would have been the time to say, double my pay.
Oh, no. I have a great story regarding my pay. When I became the #1 DJ in Cleveland, the Cleveland Press Poll, I was making $10,000. And I went into him and I said, "Norm," I said, "who's the #1 DJ in Cleveland?" He said, "Larry Morrow." I said, "Good. I think the #1 DJ in Cleveland should be making $20,000. He said, "What? That's all, you know how much money that is?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's not very much. Bill Randall's over there making 40. And I said, I buried him in the ratings. And he said, "Hang on a second." He calls his wife, Nina. He said, "Nina, the Duker is in my office and he wants $20,000 to continue to work here." So Nina says, "Put Larry on." I get on the phone. I thought, oh no. So she says, "Larry, don't you leave that office without your $20,000. So I went back to Norma and said, "You want to know what your wife just said?" So,
we know who the bosses are in the world, don't we? Thank you for watching Cleveland Live Music. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. There's further patronage information in the video descriptions below. Thanks for all the support and making the channel grow.